Welcome back to a startup pyramid video. In this video, we will look at the very top of the pyramid. So on the left side, that's the top that says sale. And on the right side, in a little bit more detail, these are the big chunks of marketing, sales, and scaling. Before we dive into the startup pyramid though, I do want to make sure that we have one general understanding of marketing. Let me share with you the purchasing funnel, sometimes called the marketing funnel. This was developed in 1898 by Elias St. Elmo Lewis. And his idea behind this, and he was a marketer right away, his idea behind this was to say that for someone to be a candidate of your product, right? So someone who might be interested, market potential, to become a customer, there were different steps that this person needed to go through. First step was that they needed to be aware that you even existed, right? That your product existed. Second, they needed to start having an interest in you, which hopefully then would transform into a desire. And finally, that desire would help them pull the trigger and take action. So would help them buy your product. And this is important because this is in general how marketing works. And this is what we want to try to trigger in the customers that you will be working with. So now let's look at each individual step of the marketing component. And by the way, I just want to acknowledge that pricing is often part of marketing when people talk about marketing at large. And however, in our case, we validated pricing earlier because pricing definitely helped with everything that had to do with design afterwards, right? It makes sense to know how much you will be charging and therefore designing it based on it. However, it doesn't mean that pricing is set in stone and that it can't move anymore because pricing and marketing definitely still go hand in hand. For example, you might have some sales or limited time promotions that can really help push your product. And just keep this in mind because pricing might still be part of your strategy here. The first step to look at is channels. Where is it that your people hang out? And you need to understand this because you might have the best marketing in the world, but unfortunately, if you are putting this where no one that you are targeting hangs out, it's not going to be very productive. So first, just understand where is it that people are in general. If we are looking at online presence, it might be on social media. Do they hang out on TikTok? Or are they more the LinkedIn type of person, right? Or if not, you might have the type of business where it's really important for you to be listed on Google Maps because the folks that you are looking at spend a lot of time doing research there. Or they might be just tuned into more traditional ways of communication. So it might be radio, TV, or newspaper. But understanding what different channels the target audience that you're going after is on will definitely help make sure that you are able to connect with them. Once you found out where they are, then it's this matter of understanding what is it that usually captures their attention. And we're not looking at the specific words yet, but more the overall strategy. For instance, if they are driven by low prices and sales, do you need to put out there some coupons or limited time deals? Or these might be people that might be attracted to trying something first before going in all the way. So maybe some samples, or if not, it might be the exchange of a white paper for their email address. And then you might be able to send them emails many times talking about how great you are, so an email drip campaign, to be able to eventually convert them down the marketing funnel, the purchasing funnel, into a customer. So think about what type of marketing do they typically respond more to be able to craft the best strategy around what would work for them. And finally, let's go into the detail. What should your content be? What are the words that you should use? What are the images, the video, any other type of media that you use to really capture their attention? And really, the understanding here is that you need to understand how to talk to them best so that they are interested in learning more, right? You might not necessarily be able to make a sale right away, but the goal of marketing is, again, to bring them lower into that purchasing funnel. A lot of the time, a tip that can be really helpful is to use the word that they use. So by now, you should know the people that you're targeting really, really well. And hopefully, you are able to understand the type of vocabulary that is common that they use. Or it might be the way that they're explaining their own problem. That might be a great way to explain then the solution and how you are solving this problem. So I would say be very cognizant of this. And by now also, you should be so grateful to have gone really into details at the very, very bottom of the pyramid of understanding precisely who you are targeting, because this whole marketing exercise should be significantly easier for you because you know very precisely who you are going after. We are now ready to look at sales. And sales again has this concept of channel, but this time it's to understand how do people buy your things. So to make sure that this is clear, where you market is not necessarily the same place as where people will buy things. A lot of the time, let's say you might be on a web page and there might be some banner ads that are showing up. If you click this, this will redirect you to a new page, and that might be where you need to complete your transaction. However, channels are also true in real life. Where is it that people buy their things? Is the only store that they go to not the store where your product shows up? That would be a problem, right? So the goal here is to make it as easy as possible for them to be able to find your product, because by then, gratefully, they want to take action, right? They are very, very down that purchasing funnel, and you want to make it as easy as possible so that they can convert and complete that sale. And also looking at the process, you need to make this as simple as possible for them to buy. So sometimes, unfortunately, I've seen new businesses make it so complicated. Too much information was being asked, or people needed to reconfirm, or whatever it was. But again, the more you ask of your customer and the more chances you have of losing them. And again, by then they are so close to being able to take the final step and to be able to buy. The process of buying also goes from everywhere from starting their quest of trying to buy your product, right? So this means that the marketing has worked, they're actively trying to buy, all the way through delivering your product. And you need to make sure that this is as great and as complete as possible so that, again, you don't drop people at the very end of the startup pyramid, because that is just heartbreaking. And hopefully you have validated all the pyramid by now. And wow, does it feel good, because you have not necessarily built everything, but you have validated what needs to be there. And all the information that you collected is it's just outstanding, as it offers you a very clear and solid blueprint as to what you should be scaling. Because by now, the confirmation that you have is that you have something that works, that people are very interested in. And then scaling means that typically you are ready to actually build and put out there what it is that you have tested up to now. Also, scaling would mean that if you do scale and you are able to, move ahead with the build and the marketing, the real part of the build, the real part of the marketing, not just the validating part, and you do put your product out there and you are successful, there's also the other part of scaling of saying, how do you grow further? And growing further past the original product that you thought of might be that you are looking at adding a new feature, maybe adding a new product, or going after different clients with the same product, same features that you have. And there are different ways of scaling. And again, the startup pyramid can help you think through these new features or the new clients that you want to go through. But for now, I will just let you enjoy the joy of being at the very top of the pyramid and all the rewards that come with it. Congratulations.